Welcome to the InnerPrincess course guide to Cherry Blossom Easy on Walkabout Mini Golf. This video will cover the last 9 holes, looking at the different options available to you and how to decide on which to use. As previously mentioned, this is another course in which all 18 holes can be hole in one, so please do check out my previous video if you'd like to see how this can be done. We'll continue our journey around this beautiful course, looking at the best strategies and lines to play across holes which favour precision and percentage play. The back 9 begins with hole 10. Set at the top of a rocky staircase, your goal is to make your way down a series of square blocks to the cup at the bottom tier. The gaps left in the edge walls offer a great number of potential routes down, and the par 5 generously grants freedom to explore. That said, you should be aiming for a 2 or 3 on this hole, and here's how. The simplest line in my opinion is to play a gentle weight to the left, aiming to just fall down 3 steps. Get your power right here and you'll have a direct, albeit elevated, line to the cup for an albatross. If you've left the line, aim at least to get to the final green and hopefully in the cup. If you don't quite have a line, don't try anything fancy, just make sure you have sight of the cup from your next position. The next route option involves an element of controlled chaos by playing down to the forgiving rocks just to the left of the green. With measures of judgment and luck, this could see your ball bounce onto the green in one, and possibly even into the hole. This also could be a quicker route than the first for speedruns or races too. My preferred hole-in-one route involves catching this sidewall here for your first deflection, which sets your ball on a path to rebound off the back wall and hopefully into the hole, or at least close. The par 3 hole 11 involves sending your ball round a 90-degree corner to the left and straight to the cup on a lower tier. What makes this more complicated than it initially looks is the spin factor I mentioned in the first video. Once the spin bites after you rebound off the corner, your angle gets widened, so it's not as simple as just hitting the perfect 90-degree deflection. The narrowed path here means that you can't come at this from much of an angle without risking falling into one of the side wings. If you aim just right of straight from the tee, this should allow the spin to take your ball down to the cup, but probably not in, as the angle will have opened out and sent your ball just beyond the hole. Getting in from here should be a short putt, still with plenty of room to show off. If you do happen to catch the side wings, you can still hole out for a birdie, but you'll need to use a couple of walls to get there. Hole 12 is all about weight. The route to the hole is a simple straight line, but the lily pad style rock used to jump your ball is what adds complexity to your shot. Although the green is supported by a modest back wall, it's still possible to bounce clean out, so consider that underhitting is not the only risk here. In fact, coming short of the front wall can still see your ball make it up, over and in for one. So as a percentage play, think about these areas as safe to land and these as danger zones. With this in mind, pick your general area to aim for and give it a go. As a par 4, you've got a pretty fair chance of an eagle, and the birdie still allows you one out of bounds shot, which we'll just call a practice swing, right? Hole 13 is the only par 2 on this course and offers very little risk. You should take this as a moment to pause your round, enjoy the view of the waterfall, and get your par. To get to the cup, you have what would be, in a spinless world, 2 right-angle deflections to take you straight in for one. But in this virtually real world where spin rightfully exists, it's again not that simple. Playing straight will widen your angle each time you catch a bounce, so by the time you reach the green you'll be missing the hole by a few inches, leaving a short putt for par. To get to the hole in one, allow for this wider angle bounce off the second deflector and connect with it close to the join with the flat outer wall. If you don't want to overthink it, just give it a whack and take your 2. In a round with friends, reaching hole 14 is an enjoyable checkpoint. You have a number of great viewing spots, there's an element of luck for the hole-in-one, and the course is still forgiving enough of mistakes to make sure nobody ruins their round here. Your aim is to get from the raised tee down to the water level green, and the most straightforward way to achieve this is by going down the bamboo chute. This will deliver your ball close to the hole, and there's always the possibility it might go in, which I've found to be around about 1 or 2% chance. Be aware that the chute doesn't join with the teeing mat perfectly, so you'll need to play with enough weight to clear the very small gap between them. You can obviously play straight at the chute, but if you prefer to aim for a marker within your peripheral vision, the developers have given you a convenient dot on the mat which you can use to go in off the left wall. If you happen to miss the shoot and end up in the water, all is not lost. The flowing stream carries your ball to the bamboo bridge and may still leave you a long but direct line to the cup. If you recompose yourself and sink this putt, you'll still leave with a birdie and at worst a par. The difficulty on this course ramps up for the last 4 holes, so make sure to up your focus at this point and don't destroy your round at the very end. Hole 15 will need you to utilise your green reading skills and work with the banking, as getting to the cup in 1 needs you to become one with the curve. At the very least on this par 3, you'll want your first shot to end up in the section to your left, which will leave you with a near certain birdie. Because of the alternating undulations, the safest way to do this is to aim at the join here. Playing at a medium pace will be safer, but it's hard to get the hole in 1 if you hit this back wall. Instead, just use enough power to clear the corner, and the curve from the banking should take you close to or potentially in the hole. If for any reason you end up in the section to your right, you have a much more tricky putt for birdie. To hit this challenging shot, aim just left of the cup and make sure you use enough weight to clear the hill and let the banking snake your ball cup bound. Hole 16 introduces an element of chaos not yet seen in any great measures in your round so far. This downhill par 3 is clearly based on one of those marble drop plinkered nailboard things. You know what I mean, those things that don't really have a name but you drop the marble and it bounces around and... Anyway, you have 2 ways to approach this hole, with or without a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, just hit your ball and hope for the best, and why not? You might get lucky, you might not, but there's not too much to lose. You might leave yourself a possible birdie putt at the other end, and if not, you should get your par. The strongest strategy I've been shown was again given to me by Willow. He spotted a clear path from the top to the bottom without hitting any of the bamboo structures. To hit this, aim just past the corner to your right and measure your weight to allow the hill to take the ball straight down the line. This should leave you a certain birdie putt, so is well worth practicing. For the penultimate hole, we return to flat ground for a neat little par 3. Playing on a raised mat above the sandy out of bounds, keep in mind that there are no protective perimeter walls, so beware of the edges. To play for a fairly safe birdie, you have a couple of easier lines. One going straight to here and in from there. Another being to play off the first deflector with the weight to carry you to around this area, and hopefully in for 2. The eagle is again complicated by the spin factor. If you played your angle off the first block without accounting for the spin, your ball will kick just after the first bounce, and you risk being sent straight to the sand. If you allow for this with line and weight, you can make it in for 1, but this requires practice. If you've had a shocker of a round, you can have some fun here with the conveniently positioned rocks around the green. There are lots of possible trick shots here, so I won't go through all of them. Perhaps the best known is to play into the rock to your right and let the ball go back and forth between rock and green before hopping up onto the mat. If that's not enough for you, why not use the other rock faces to hole out from there? You show off. And now we come to the dreaded and complex final hole. The hut you find yourself in is home to statues, a bonsai tree and the fabled gong. Rumour has it that if you're on a very particular score before starting hole 18, the gong will actually sound when you hit it, so I'll leave you to work out what that secret score is. The hole layout itself allows for any number of ways to reach the hole, but for now I'll focus on only 2 main ways to pick up a couple of strokes. The first is to play to the base of the ramp which sits between tee and cup. You'll then need to jump your ball into the final section in order to leave a line for a massive 4 under par. I find this route challenging, and so I'd opt for a safer route with a goal of 3 or 4 under par. In essence, the 4-shot route would look something like this. And the 3-shot route would just achieve more with the second shot. Lay up to the far corner to your right, leaving a view of this opening. Use a couple of bounces to get around the hairpin corner, and just aim to leave any view of the hole you can. As long as you know that this approach can safely shave some strokes off your round, there's not much need or benefit to getting any greedier. This concludes the back 9 of Cherry Blossom Easy, or Daytime. Hopefully you can use what you've seen here to shave a few strokes off your score or improve your consistency. If you find yourself at 15 under, you've had a good steady round. 20 under is very good, and 25 under or better is heading towards exceptional. Again, please do join the Discord to connect with a growing and welcoming community and to keep informed of competitions and tournaments being arranged. If you are enjoying the game, please leave a 5-star review in the Oculus store, as this hugely helps the developers who deserve all the praise and support they get. Please do subscribe if you want to keep informed of all future content, course guides, hole-in-one videos and other tips and tricks. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you out on the course.